Howdy guys, how's it going? So this right here is going to be a video that has been pretty well requested over the past, I don't know, like month and a half, but everybody has been asking about snipers, especially since that one Warzone match, that was forever ago, whenever I was rocking and rolling with the old sniper class. But in this video, there ain't going to be no gameplay at the end. I'm going to be breaking down my best sniping class setups for Warzone. And if you're a Warzone player, then this right here, it's all about you. But let me preface this by saying, do not use these setups in regular multiplayer, because for regular multiplayer they are trash, and we'll kind of touch on why that is as we go into each one. We're going to be starting out with the old AX50, okay? Now, so for all these setups, you got to remember what Warzone is. It's this giant map. If you're playing with a sniper rifle, then hopefully you're one of the few people on your team that is actually rocking a sniper, because it's very important to have squad diversity in terms of like the weapons you're going with and the roles that each individual player plays. And I think that's something I'm going to do a video on in the future, because with the people I've been playing Warzone with, we finally figured out the best way to divvy up class setups and like player roles to where now we're getting a lot more Warzone wins a lot more consistently by following that metric, okay? But now with this, we're going to start with the muzzle. We're going to go with the monolithic suppressor, okay? Because you definitely want a suppressor in this game. I mean, people can see sniper glare and all that stuff, but if you got on cold-blooded, you got on ghost, and then you got a monolithic suppressor, you're going to be pretty gosh darn hard to find from the sniper glare. And then after you take and you get good and warmed up and you get really good with the sniper rifle, then you're not going to have any issue popping people, and then they can see that sniper glare all they want to, because it's going to be the last thing they see, okay? But so then we're going to go to the barrel, and this right here is really one of the things that makes it different from what you're going to want if you're doing just regular multiplayer. Is you're going to want to throw the largest barrel on there. Not necessarily the largest, because I can't remember for the other snipers off the top of my head, but in this case it's the longest barrel, the 32-inch factory barrel, because you want the max amount of range and like damage range, bullet velocity, and in this case we do get a little bump in recoil control. Okay, and then you don't need the underbarrel attachment, because the only underbarrel attachment for snipers is bipod. It's just a waste of an attachment, honestly. Then for ammunition, I like throwing the max amount of ammunition possible, just because, when you can cut out reload time, that just the last bullet or two you get out of that extra magazine. In this case, I mean, you got 9, so you can do a lot of damage with 9, bullets from this bad boy. But, you can end up cleaning up kills, BMing people if they're down, whatever. It's just better to cut out the reload time if possible. It does add weight, but if you're sniping in Warzone, quick scoping, it should not be in your mind at all, like under any circumstances. If you're sniping, then you need to focus on the actual benefit, the actual advantage you gain, which is the ability to post up, be pre-aimed. You can call it hard scoping, whatever, but it's Warzone. It's not multiplayer, it's not team deathmatch, it's Warzone. So if you're gonna be up in a house, on a mountain, whatever, and I mean, in all reality, I mean, the ADS time is not fast, but it's plenty good enough for what you're rocking with. And plus, when you're in the game, you need to be picking up a good secondary, like an AR, like an assault rifle or a submachine gun, to play your up-close battles with. And then, in terms of switching to that, you're going to want to run amped as a third perk, and I'll just throw you through the whole, the whole class setup after we get done looking at this one before we move on to the HDR. But then now for the optics, so now you'll definitely want to have the ability to zoom in, okay? Now, the AX50 is it's actually the only sniper that I like to run the dual-powered thermal scope on. I just really like how it plays with this gun, how, it does with even though you get a reduced amount of control, I just love the reticle and just everything about it on the AX50, so that's why I'm rocking and rolling with this, and that's what I've had the best results with. But if you don't like the thermal, then feel free to throw on the variable zoom scope. It's got a very good sight picture itself. But, like I said, I like the thermal on this one. And then finally, we're going to go to, not the stock. For this one, you definitely don't need a stock, because your accuracy and control is pretty solid. And then throwing on that other stock thing, it just won't really help you that much. But I like to throw on fraggable wounding. Okay, so like I said, bullets cause target killing to be briefly delayed, and that can be huge in the event that, you tag somebody, you break their shield, you damage them a little bit, it slows them down from healing. So even if you miss a shot, then the chances of the next shot, taking advantage of the fact that they're already weak, or if you have a teammate that has a good long range weapon, like a good long range AR or something, that can just pop them a couple times, then it's easy to finish them off, and you can go with that call out. So that right there is the 5 attachments I like to rock with my AX50. But now I will say that the AX50 is no longer my favorite sniper for Warzone, okay? I just want to touch on this one first because I know it is a fan favorite, but the HDR is now my go-to, but I no longer am the primary sniper anytime I hop in with a squad of people to play Warzone. I normally go my PKM class set up and then, you know, find a good secondary. But from time to time, I will take and snipe. So let's take and move. Well, before we move on to the HDR, we'll do a quick full class rundown because this is the same for all three classes. So in the primary slot, you'll obviously want the sniper rifle that you're rocking and rolling with. In the secondary place, I run my primary X16 class setup because it's one of my favorite pistols. I got an Obsidian. You know, if you want to check out the setup, the class setup that I got with that bad boy and what's the attachments that are on it, check out the Obsidian X16 class video. But for the perch, the thing I keep consistent is cold-blooded ghost and amped. You want amped because you need to find a sub, a AR on the ground that you know that you're good with, you feel comfortable with, and that you can switch. And then with amped, you can switch to it in the event you get pushed, somebody sneaks up on you, whatever. It gives you the best, you know, the best odds of actually winning those close range engagements, especially if you're not expecting to be in them. And then, you know, ghost is important because UAVs, all that stuff, especially if you're one of the last few people, last squads. And then for the first part, cold-blooded, that's one you can kind of go back and forth with. I like to run EOD most of the time just because thermals aren't as big of a deal as they used to be. As long as you stay moving and you're not trying to camp or something, it shouldn't be that big of an issue. But with this video, we're just going to keep cold-blooded, keep the whole sniper aesthetic, the sniper feel real, you know, just be a ghost all around. But now let's go to the good old HDR. Now with this one, a lot of it's going to be pretty much the same with some minor differences. We're definitely going to keep with that monolithic suppressor for the range benefit and, you know, just for the suppression benefit that you get with all the suppressors. Then we're going to the barrel. We're going to be throwing on, I went back and forth between these quite a bit because, you know, like with that one you get a lot more recoil control, but you do lose out on the range. But the HDR already has phenomenal range as it is. But see, since that one does block your, you know, the monolithic suppressor, I do go with 26.9, and I've had phenomenal results with that out of the actual games. But now this one's, like I said, the thermal I only run on the AX50. So for this one, I definitely like the variable zoom scope, and the HDR has a phenomenal default reticle. Like it's my favorite reticle, even though I've got most of the other ones unlocked. That's the one I like to go with. Then for ammunition, we are going to be sticking with the 9-round mag attachment, okay, just like the other one, just so you know, like I said, follow-up shots, this, that, and the other. But now, with this one, it's so consistent when popping off headshots and stuff, I don't like to run the fraggable wounding. You could run sleight of hand, because so like this last perk, you can kind of go with whatever, you know, suits you fancy, but I like to throw on this last stock. Now, like I said, that hurts your mobility quite a bit. But this right here, I mean, it's just so accurate and smooth, and you can pop people in the noggin at the longest of ranges on Warzone. And I mean, this thing right here is just an absolute beauty to use in Warzone. Like, you know, the ADS time, yeah, it's slow, it's cumbersome, whatever. But if you find a place to post up inside of each, you know, each zone and stuff as you move in, you get you a good secondary off the ground, or after you wipe out a squad, you pick up one of their, you know, pimped out anything that's not like an LMG or something that's also going to have a horrible ADS time, then you'll be golden, especially, you know, if you're tuned in with your teammates and they can really, you know, take care of those short to medium range engagements. You can sit back and just pick people off at a distance, Bob Lee swagger style. Okay, now, like I said, same perk, same pistol, all that's consistent with this. And then finally, we're going to touch with the Dragonov, but, you know, let's just go ahead and, you know, address the elephant in the room. There is no reason, like, no reason whatsoever why you should be hopping in and using this Dragonov unless maybe you're trying to, you know, work on camos or something. I don't know why you want to do that in Warzone unless, you know, Warzone's the only version of this that you do have. But we're going to go ahead and touch on it, and we're going to kind of keep with that same thing. The problem with the Dragonov is, though, is it's still, even after you lay everything to it, you just got to get, it takes too many shots. I mean, yeah, you can pop people in the head here or there, but with recoil control and all that stuff, it's just not a good idea. So with this, we're going to still just focus on range and kind of taking care of the recoil and accuracy aspect. We definitely want that monolithic suppressor. Same thing with the barrel. I mean, you get the 510, between the 510 and the 660, like, besides what you see in the actual stat menu, I couldn't tell too much of a difference from the, like, 3 matches where I tried running this setup. And then, obviously, I've tried, you know, the variant setups in the event that those are the only ones that I was able to pick up in a short time frame, or, like, at the beginning of the game, or if I just spawned back in, you know, whatever. But for the sake of this, we are going to go with the 660. just because it's the longest barrel. It gives us the same advantages I talked about with the other two sniper rifles, and it's just, you know, it's the best all-around choice for this, for what we're trying to accomplish. For the stock, you're gonna go on the first one for the aiming stability. You get that bump in accuracy and control, and it is noticeable. Now, you know, with this, you got the 10-round mag standard, but we're gonna throw the 20-round mag just because if you can pop them off, since we got this long setup, it is, you know, a lot more manageable in terms of accuracy and control. And then finally, we're going to throw on the variable zoom scope once again, just so you can push out to range. Now, the good thing about this, I'd say the advantage that it does have is, you know, you can really get some good long distance suppressing fire, so that, you know, if you need to help your team push up, you just want to make some people back off of where you're at, you know, give you time to do this, that, or the other, buy somebody in the buy station. You know, you can just rattle off, you got 20 rounds to rattle off at a team that can be a pretty, you know, considerable distance away, and you can still, you know, run the chance of downing them, wiping out a team, whatever. So I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I would just highly recommend going with the HDR, the AX50, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. But anyways, guys, that right there is the 3 snipers, the best class setup for those 3 snipers. If you're wanting to do Warzone, I'm going to be touching on the snipers again for, you know, regular multiplayer gameplay and stuff, and then got some other fun videos coming soon. But anyways, guys, that is this video. Please let me know what you think about it in the comments, how Warzone's going for you. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, share with your friends, and just, you know, hit me with any other videos you guys want to see, because I'll add them to the list of the video suggestions and stuff you guys are wanting to see. But yeah, guys, that's all for this one, and until the next one, adios.